So, like a bad B-grade horror movie, I title this message Satan 3. And hopefully I'll put this subject to rest, at least for the near future here. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about some stuff that I had raised in my first two messages to both of you. And the first was this, that it's my opinion that there aren't really any proud people in heaven. A lot of cowards there, because at least cowards know at the end of the day that they're not sufficient in and of themselves. But a proud person doesn't really think that. Proud people are under the erroneous assumption, and I'm talking about the deeply proud, people of deep pride, that they somehow have what it takes. And I'll tell you what I mean more about this. You know, I've always been very fascinated by the fact that in the New Testament, the people who Christ dealt with in a very negative fashion weren't necessarily, think about this, the sexually immoral or the thieves or drunkards. The people that Christ disliked the most were in fact the people who ran the established church of his day. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the religious elite, and the religiously educated individuals. And what's also fascinating to me is the simple fact that he never called them out on drunkenness. He never called them out on adultery, sexual immorality, any of that, because I don't believe these people lived those lives. They were at least outwardly squeaky clean, and yet Christ called them broods of vipers, and he called them whitewashed tombs. And I think he called them all of those things because he knew their hearts. He knew that these were the people of deep pride, that these were the people in the ultimate sense who had rejected God. And so I think they were really the ones who were the truly lawless. Where Paul says, not that I've achieved this, but I press on, these people think they have achieved it. And where Paul in 1 Timothy 1:15 says, I am the chief of sinners, these people think they are not the chief of sinners. And where every healthy and true believer has an unresolved sense of his or her unworthiness before God, that is what Paul calls working your salvation out with fear and trembling. These people don't have that sense. And I guess I bring this up because you're going to encounter these kind of people, these pharisaical people, these individuals of deep pride. And once again, as with the New Testament, they may not be the people who have problems with drugs. They may not be the people who have problems with alcohol. They may not be the people who have problems with pornography. They may not even be the people who are sexually immoral. If they're single, they may live chaste lives. And if they're married, they may be true to their spouse. Yet they will be, in the ultimate sense, the most ungodly people you could ever be around. Because in their heart of hearts, they're sufficient in and of themselves. You may encounter these people in your social circles. You may encounter them in school. You may encounter them at work. And God forbid, you may even encounter them in your churches and even in the leadership position of some of your churches. And their destructiveness, because Satan is very stealth, may not in fact be evident right away because they have rejected God in the deepest sense. Satan is able to run roughshod over their lives. And I guess I give all of this to you, as with the first two messages, so that you might be better equipped and maybe more aware and able to spot these things at an earlier stage. He who is in you, that is Christ Jesus, is bigger than he who is in the world. In your confrontations with evil, in your confrontations with Satan, in whatever grotesque and horrific form he may take, Christ has promised to give you victory if you fight the battle in him. God bless you both.